Welcome to HQ. So a little bit of a different style of video this week. I'm trying to get into decisive mode. I'm going to lay out all my options, including one free boat, in fact 2 free boats, which have been offered to me in the United States. There are so many options over there in the United States, which I'm going to go over in this video. Some boats in France, really struggling to find boats locally here in the UK, and that's kind of why I'm doing this video now. So as you know, I've been shopping around, looking at different monohulls in different states. I looked at what I called my dream boat, the Wildling 46 in Costa Rica, and as you know, I made an offer on that boat for $30,000 US. So that's pretty much, you farted, didn't you? That's pretty much where I'm at in terms of my budget to buy a boat. So as you know, I decided that I'm going to buy a boat and sail it around the world. If I'm looking at a monohull to do that, I'm looking at around the 40-foot range. I'm looking at a boat that's suited for the trade winds, so suited for broad reach or downwind sailing, something like that. I've actually found the perfect boat for this. It's a steel boat and it's owned by a friend, so there could potentially be another special deal on the cards. I'll get to that boat a little bit later on in the video. The reason why I'm looking at like a 40-foot monohull around there is because I really like the idea of a centre cockpit with a walk-through aft cabin. I think that it just separates the interior space. I think a 40-footer is manageable. I can also have the option to have crew, have friends and family. Obviously a Wildling catamaran, they also have a lot of berths as well and a lot of outside space, and like I said, it's going to be a lot of trade wind sailing close to the equator, so it's going to be warm, so the deck space is going to be really useful. I am struggling to find decent options in terms of Wildling catamarans at the moment. There's one in South Africa which is priced at £35,000. That's going to be like $40,000 US, so that's out of my range, and it's all the way in South Africa. So I see a lot of boats crop up online in Florida, and I would say that Florida is definitely a hotbed of used boat action, and there's plenty of hotbeds of used boat action across the United States, so we're going to check those out. We're going to look at the website Craigslist. You may know it from the Netflix documentary The Craigslist Killer, but there are some killer deals on there. Another good reason why Florida is a good place for me is because I have, as a British citizen, only 3 months in the US, so Florida is a good hopping off point. If I go to the Bahamas from Florida, it's part of this prodigious island extended thing, so I think I would have to go from Florida to Mexico, so I have to bear that in mind. If I did get a boat in Florida, it can't be too big of a project because I would have to sail it within 3 months, get it from there to Mexico, which is something like a 7-day sail, so it has to be pretty set up already. Maybe 2 months of a refit and then a month of fannying around and then getting off to Mexico. A lot of people have said to me, Mark, stop procrastinating, just get a boat. Now, like I've said, I want to go around the world, so I need to make sure the boat is a good one. Before we go any further, there is a lot of spam going on in the comments section, and it will be somebody telling you to text them on Telegram. I know to some people it might seem obvious, but I know that people have been tricked by this, so just be careful. So before we get cracking on Craigslist, I want to show you a few other interesting boats that I've found, and also make sure you subscribe, click the notification bell button because I'm going to be going live tomorrow at 8 PM UK time. I'm going to be looking at boats and websites that you send me through the live chat, and we'll have a little look and a chat. So yeah, on Yacht World there is this 1976 Chiai Lee 43-footer for only $13,999. So it says in the description the masts have been refurbished, it's had Kiwi grip decks, and it's an unfinished project. So the mast is all done but just needs putting on, and this is an absolutely beautiful boat. Look at that cockpit, it's so elegant. And this one doesn't have the centre cockpit with a walk-through aft cabin, but when you're sailing around in a boat this beautiful, it doesn't really matter. This isn't really a double ender, but I really love double enders, and if, you know, like a Hans Christian, and if I can find a boat like that, then I would probably go for it as well, just because it's so beautiful, and you're essentially sailing around in a work of art. So yeah, with this one a lot of interior work needs doing. Apparently the engine's only had 5 hours use, the Westerbeck or Westerbeek, there it is. So yeah, this one's up in Portland, Oregon, up near, I think it's Washington State. Needs a bit of work. maybe a couple of months project, and then I could maybe sail it up to Canada to reset my visa. So that's an option that I've been looking at. And we've got here in the upper Chesapeake region, we've got a Gulf Star 50-foot center cockpit ketch, 25,000 US dollars, so within budget. A little bit of a project, but not too much. So yeah, you can see, looks really nice from the pictures. My only worry getting a boat so far north is that with my 3-month visa, am I going to be able to get it down to Mexico or to the lower Caribbean islands and then get it to a hurricane safe place? So the engine looks a little bit tired, but it's got a new generator in there. Would have been nice if they'd have replaced the engine instead of the generator. But there you go, 25 in terms of layout and a blue water boat that's going to love the trade winds. This is perfect. And one of the 3 boats is in Chesapeake, so I'll show you that in a little bit. Now then, here is a hilarious boat, I think. A McGregor pilot house, 20 meters. I just had to show you this for 27,500, and I think this one is actually under offer or something, but just look at this thing. Now I don't know if this is the same McGregor that make the motor yacht crossover. They make yachts that actually plane. It's just ridiculous. So I don't know what's going on with this boat, but look at it. It's a mini super yacht within budget. Probably has some underlying issues, surely. But just imagine sailing around the world in this thing. A little bit broken there at the front. A lot of stuff stripped out, which is kind of good. You can see the bulkheads. I don't know how well these things are built. Requires a bit of a refit. But imagine surfing down those trade wind waves in this thing. But again, marina costs is just going to be ridiculous, but I think that would just be hilarious. So this Warren, which I found on iNautia, I've contacted the seller twice, and actually the guy who's put down a down payment on this boat has actually contacted me. So someone has bought this boat essentially, and it's, you know, it's such a shame. I was talking to the guy as well, but yeah, 26,000 euros, really good price, and it was well built. I actually showed this boat to Hanneke and she said it was really well built. Unfortunately, that's gone. So now we get to Craigslist, a trove of used boat action. And let's go straight away to Florida. So use this little map, choose this location, and already we have a Van der Stadt. I have checked out these boats, but I'll just reopen them. Kelly Peterson 44 foot, looks flipping good. And another one which is similar to that Gulf Star 46 Morgan. It has the layout that I want in a monohull. And this one, a subscriber has emailed me this one, I think. And then let's see if any more have come up since last night. No. So let's look at the pictures on this one. So a 50-foot Van der Stadt. The deck's been recored, but it's not been painted. And really, if you've got exposed epoxy, you need to paint that as soon as possible. That's upside down. That's sideways. These photos are absolutely terrible. What's that? Is that a Yanmar? Terrible photos on this one. You know, that's not going to really entice me to fly to Florida at this point. So here's another one, and actually Stu from Sailing Seabird, who we did some sailing with, he sent me this one as well. It's a Kelly Peterson. If he sent me this, then it's probably a well-designed boat. But if you have any information on these designs like Kelly Peterson, there's also Peterson, Pearsons, Morgans, Hunters. get busy in the comments and just let me know about these sorts of designs for what I want. So there's only one picture with this one, but it's 25,000 US dollars. North Miami Beach. From what I can tell, it's a good solid blue water boat for 25k. And then this one, which is very interesting. So I just love that keel profile. I know it's not fast, it's not going to go to wind very well. However, it just seems safe. And again, with Morgans, I don't know what they're going to be like. But there you go, the interior looks really nice actually. A little bit dated, the oven and the sink there, but it doesn't matter to me, this sort of stuff. Got a bit of an aft cabin there. And yeah, it just seems spacious. Looks like a good blue water boat. The mast has obviously been on the steps there, you can see. I'm guessing that's the compression post. So it says here, this is not a hurricane damaged boat. So another benefit to going to Florida, to the States, is I could look at hurricane damaged boats, but like I've said, with only 3 months, redoing a hurricane damaged boat over there will be quite difficult. And for $30,000, we have this 44 Camper Nicholson Ketch, which again, good solid blue water boat, and it looks clean and ready to go. Because I'm checking this every day, I'm going to revisit them. So if I move this map over to, let's first start up. Let's start in Los Angeles. CNC, Peterson 42, Islander 44, Catalina 38. So the free boat is a Catalina 38. I'll get to that in a second. You've got a Cal 39 there. Okay, and there you go, a Hans Christian 41, $35,000 at the moment. Can it be got for less? You've got a motor sailor there, 43-foot Rhodes motor sailor. Also seeing a lot of wooden ketches for sale as well. Seems like people can't get rid of them. So CNC, 12-foot beam. So this looks like a pretty good solid cruiser, but I'm not too interested in that one. Peterson 42, let's have a look. So this one is not actually, this is a German guy who's selling his boat. Again, lovely blue water boat, would have no trouble sailing this around the world. But it's priced at the top end, and it doesn't have that extra space for crew, I think. Islander 44, it's not a centre cockpit. Again, solid boat, and I'd have no trouble going around the world in this boat. Sorry for the fast photos, but for crew, I mean, it's going to be cozy. It's going to be cozy. Okay, got the Cal 39. Again, I think similar to the last two. It's going to be solid, it's going to be dependable, and it's ready to go for $11,000. Okay, so here we go. Hans Christian 41. And isn't she a beauty? When you're sailing a boat like this, it doesn't matter if you've got a separate aft cabin. It's just a pleasure to sail in a work of art. Look at her. Just need to clean up, look at that. Just need to clean up. Solid, dependable boat. It's got a wind vane, 35,000 US dollars. Now that is tempting. And then a 39-foot centre cockpit. Walks through aft cabin, more like a crawl through aft cabin, I think. But not bad, look at that. Cool, so that's in Los Angeles. So there's a lot on this Pacific coast. Now we go up to San Francisco, choose this location. I know there's a couple of really nice boats here as well. So yeah, Island Traders, I mean that's 44,000. You've also got this wooden sailing boat. This guy is obviously really trying to sell his boat. He's put out 5 ads for that one. Okay, so this is an interesting one. A Rafiki 37, double ender. A Tiana 37, beautiful boat. Needs a bit of work, this one. And you've also got this Formosa. You've also got a 50-foot sailboat there, which is just going to be too much, but we'll have a look anyway. So yeah, Island Trader, beautiful looking boat. Beautiful. Out of budget, shouldn't even be looking at it. Okay, so Rafiki 37. A beautiful boat for 20,000 US dollars. I mean, just look at that. That looks safe. No keel, that's not, that keel's not falling off. I mean, it might be a bit of a roller in some of the anchorages. Not going to be too good going to wind, but just beautiful. £20,000. It's got a wind vane, solar panels, looks pretty well equipped. And a little stove there as well. But yeah, I mean, imagine that, just buying a boat in San Francisco, something like this. I could hang out there, it'd be pretty chill, pretty cool. So yeah, that's a tempting one. Tiana 37, 24,000 or best offer. So you could offer probably about 20 for this. Good solid fiberglass hulls. A double ender as well. I think it says in the advert for this one it might need some of the rigging replacing, and I think before heading off around the world I would be looking to replace the rigging if it's not been done recently anyway. 24,000. California, very tempting. And also this one, so just one picture, Formosa, I think it's a 41. I think this might be a lot of work, but it's 8,000 US dollars. I mean, come on, absolute beauty, look at that. I love it at the bow, where you have that sort of cut off thingy-majiggy. But yeah, potentially a lot of work with it being a ketch. Potentially having to re-rig that would be expensive, but again, $8,000. I can throw a chunk of my budget at it. And then here you go, 50-foot sailboat, just says for sale. Now I reckon this could be hiding a lot of issues, probably quite rough. And again, a ketch, so redoing the rigging is going to be a bit of a pain. This one would be too much for me to handle single-handed. That could be a ferro cement hull, just looking at the kind of crinkliness of it here. So I don't mind ferro cement if it was built correctly, but yeah, interesting, very interesting. And then if we go up more the Pacific coast, we look around Washington, I don't think there was as much here. So you've got a 40-foot steel hull there, steel boat there for 30k, looks pretty complete. Columbia 45, let's have a look at that one for 7,500. Expedition Pilot House, but that's 96,000. What's this one? 20k. A Formosa 41 for 10,000. I think this is a new listing, I think. Okay, so let's have a look at this 40-foot steel boat. This is a new one for me. The hull looks a really nice shape. A lot of rust there, that's pretty nasty looking. Again, guys, if you know about these steel boats, Andy, if you're watching, let me know what you think of that rust. But you know, with a steel boat, you're getting a big solid lump, and it would be my hull material of choice for crossing an ocean, just simply because if you hit a big submerged object, there's a good chance it's not going to put a hole in the hull, so that's reassuring. Again, 40-footer steel, quite old though this one, and probably quite pokey inside for a 40-footer. But yeah, it's gonna do the job in terms of blue water, going where I want to go. Doesn't look too pokey. And that's another thing, when you're living on a boat as opposed to just saying it for a month or two a year, these things matter because it breaks your back. If you can't stand up straight, if you can't lie down flat at any point, then you're gonna end up with back problems. And I actually did get back problems from Minky, just because we didn't have the living room set out very well. They were quite small seats, so I came back. It's feeling a bit better now, but I did damage my back from constantly crouching down like this. Okay, Columbia 45. Look at that. That's a beast. Potentially more of a motor sailor, do you think? I have to say I'm not too keen on the lines of this one. It looks a bit old-fashioned, but cheap. 7,500. It's been in dry dock for Bellingham for over a year. Before that, it successfully sailed all the way to Bellingham from Los Angeles, so it's seaworthy. So it's been up the Pacific coast. Yeah, Perkins 4108. I'll read more about that later. Let me know in the comments. Junk rig CB Scow schooner, 20k. I've got an interior shot here. Looks nice. Looks a mess, but it looks nice. Wow. I think it's wooden. Ah, it's a beauty. I think it's wood. It's a wooden. Oh, it's beautiful. I love that. That's beautiful. Don't mind the junk rig as well. Formosa 41. So this is perhaps like the one that is down in LA. Beautiful. Obviously needs a bit of work, but that is a good boat. What's that? Is that the mast step? Okay, what hull material is this? 1967, built in Taiwan. Renaissance is a thick fiberglass blue water cruiser, timeless style. Right, interesting. So now I move on to a free boat offered to me by a friend called Mark, and it is in Chesapeake Bay, and it's a Catalina 38, and this is it. So this boat is free to me, okay, which you would think is a no-brainer, right? And it's, you know, when I first thought about it, I was like, this is a no-brainer. Of course I'll go get a free boat. The only thing holding me back, I know this might seem silly, is that, well, so this is the state that she's in now, right? So you can see she's a little bit of a project, but nothing major. And these boats are really good, and I have no doubt that this would take me in the trade winds over to, you know, over to Mexico, then over to Hawaii. The only thing is, because it's designed as a racer, obviously the tankage would need upgrading. I would also want to put a wind vane self-steering on it. I think I'd like to replace the rigging, because with it, you know, going out into really blue water, I'd like to potentially oversize the rigging, but there's always a shoestring way. Another thing as well, it's in Chesapeake Bay, so again, with my 3-month visa, if I was to take this boat, say if I was just to go in 2 weeks, buy the boat, I would probably motor it down the ICW after doing maybe a month of just prettying it up, getting it nice and seaworthy. I'm sure it's seaworthy as it is. And then it would be, you know, a good month and a half down to Florida, and then it would just be constant, you know, from Florida then to Mexico, I think. or the South Caribbean islands, just in time for hurricane season. So the only thing that's holding me back is that kind of itinerary. Yeah, but there you go, a free boat, and you know, I could buy it, you know, sail it around Chesapeake, around there for a little while, come back to the UK for a few months, then come back. Again, whole reason why I'm doing this video, it's getting my thoughts out and everything out there in this video, and then yeah, just thinking about it. And the other free boat is a little bit more further north, and that's also a Sparkman and Stevens, which is the same hull designer as this. It's 41 foot, that's free. It's got some soft core and a little bit of work that needs doing it, and again, it's just that kind of mad rush with my visa. Would I be able to get it down in time? And yeah, but thank you very much for sending me that, Chris. Really appreciate it. But yeah, now you can see my thought processes with regards to getting a boat up there at this time of year. Moving on, back to Europe, and we're looking in France now, and we have here a Warren Pahi 31 priced at 22,000 euros. It's probably going to be like 24,000 US. And she looks well built. Not sure about the colour, can always repaint. But yeah, again, these catamarans are really seaworthy, and I would have no trouble sailing this one in the trades. It's probably going to get a little bit funky, you know, just because of the size of the boat, but these ones are quite buoyant, and I feel like the Warren catamarans are really safe. They're made out of plywood and epoxy. Even if you did hull both of the hulls, it's probably still going to float. There's hardly any through hulls, and they're just a really safe boat. So I am considering this, going to view this one over the next, you know, week or two, and then driving down to Port St. Louis, Hotel California, the Badlands of the south of France, but an amazing boatyard, loads of deals there, such as this one, which is a 12-meter ketch in steel for 17,000 euros. Again, solid looking blue water boat, and it's got a walk-through aft cabin. And in Port St. Louis, I have like good contacts and good friends there, so I think it's going to be worth a trip down there. I don't know if you remember Victor from the Minky rebuild videos. I would like to go and see Victor as well, but I would buy now. I think I'm going to go and see it. I would buy this boat now. It's a friend of mine's boat. It's Justin's boat, who actually helped me with the hydraulic drive on my last catamaran, Minky. And it's a Embrun 40, priced at £45,000. But special deal for a special friend. However, that special deal is more than I can afford right now. But this one's ready to go. He's done so much work to it. Look at that aft cabin walk through. Lovely looking kitchen. Look at all that space. He's an engineer by trade, and I know I trust Justin a lot, so I know that he's done a great job with this boat. And it's actually based on Bernard Motissier's Joshua, the Golden Globe entrant who actually decided not to go back to Plymouth and collect his prize and just decided to go around the world again. So it's based on that hull design, but it's made out of steel. I just love those little portholes. It's a junk rig, and she's beautiful. She's called Maya, and I would buy that boat if I had the money. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm not sure, you know, there's some great boats like the Hans Christian in the States. There is cheap flights to Florida, £300. Obviously, my mind and what I think I want to do and what I'm doing is constantly changing, and I'm not 100% sure on what I'm doing. So let me know in the comments what you think I should do. Ultimately, it comes down to me, what I want to do. But yeah, these are just some of my options and what I'm thinking. Another good reason for getting this boat down in Port St. Louis, it's actually where I found Yoshi, or where we found Yoshi. And if I did get a boat in Europe, it would be so much easier having Yoshi on the boat. If I went to the States, I've actually looked it up and it's not too difficult for me to get Yoshi to the States. It's just expensive, like something like 1,000, 2,000, and I don't mind doing that. However, it's a faff, it's expensive, flights to and from the States, so I need to really take that into consideration. A good thing about getting a boat in Europe is that it's much easier, you know, have a better support network. Although I know you amazing subscribers, a lot of you have emailed me as well, offering places to stay, and that, you know, going to the States to look at a boat, it's quite expensive in terms of hotels and, you know, traveling and stuff. Ideally I'd like to go, you know, get to Florida, have a look around, fly from place to place, but yeah, I'm just in that situation now where spending a lot of time looking, and yeah, it's difficult because I could go to the States, you know, I could make some nice videos and stuff, but like I've said briefly, I don't want to make videos for video's sake. I want to choose a direction and kind of go with it. So don't be surprised if my upload schedule's a little bit sketchy while I really try and figure out what I'm gonna do. Like I've said, I want to go around the world and I need to make sure the boat is well equipped and I feel comfortable with it. So yeah, it's a bit of a catch-22 because you can't really tell the quality and the condition of the boats until you actually go and see them. So yeah, anyway, I'm guessing this video was a very long one, so thank you very much for sitting through it. Thanks to everyone who's been to my Coffee and PayPal, massively appreciate that, thank you so much. From time to time I'll upload little bonus bits to Patreon and Coffee as well. Tomorrow I'm going to go live at around 8 PM, so that's Saturday, and we're going to do this. You're going to show me some websites, I'm going to have another little look around, and then hopefully by kind of Monday, Tuesday next week I'll have a plan, and then plan my trip kind of based around these next few days of thought. But yeah, thank you very much for watching and see you next week.